The film industry has been on a rocky road for years now. First, it was the COVID-19 pandemic, then came the strikes, and now we have major corporate moves, including a proposed merger between Paramount and Warner Bros. Discovery that raises concerns between jobs, competition, and the future of Hollywood. And on top of all that, we have AI. For independent filmmakers like us, this is scary because we're already trying to build our careers, get funding, make connections, and prove that our voices deserve to be heard. So when we see executives treating artificial intelligence as a money-saving machine, it feels like there's another wall being built in front of artists. But here's the thing. I don't think the question is as simple as AI good or AI bad. I see AI as a tool, but like any other tool, it depends who is using it, why they are using it, or whatever they respect the human beings behind the work. If AI is used to help artists solve production problems, organize ideas, and to expand what small filmmakers can do, that is one conversation. But if AI is used to replace writers, erase actors, steal voices, copy likeness, spread misinformation, or use filmmaking as a cheaper, empty product, that is an entirely different conversation. So today, I want to ask the question that a lot of filmmakers are scared to ask out loud. Is AI a threat to the film industry? To answer that, we're going to be looking at three things: the history of AI, why JamesCameron has been warning us for years, and how AI has already been part of our entertainment long before ChatGPT entered the mainstream. Before we talk about Hollywood, we need to understand something important. AI did not suddenly appear in 2022. It may feel new because of ChatGPT, Gemini, Firefly, and all these other tools, but the idea behind artificial intelligence goes back decades. In some ways, the story begins before the term artificial intelligence even existed. In 1936, British mathematician and codebreaker Alan Turing proposed what we now call the Turing machine. Turing would later become known for helping create the Enigma code during World War II, but his early work helped create the foundation of modern computing. The Turing machine was not a laptop or a robot. It was a theoretical machine. Turing imagined a simple system with an endless tape divided into squares, simple writing on those squares, a read-write head that could examine one square at a time, and a set of precise instructions telling the machine what to do next. For example, an instruction might say, when you see a 1, replace it with a 0. Move one square to the right and continue with rule number 2. That sounds simple, but the idea was huge. Turing was asking, what does it actually mean for a problem to be compatible with a definitive procedure? His work gave mathematics a precise model of an algorithm. It also showed that computers have power, but they also have limits. Not every problem can be solved just by building a machine and giving it instructions. The idea matters today because every time someone asks as if AI can magically solve everything, history reminds us that machines are powerful, but not infinite. Then in 1950, Turing published Computer Machinery and Intelligence, in which he posed the question that would define the future of AI. Can machines think? Instead of arguing forever about what thinking means, Turing proposed a simple test. Could a machine hold a writing conversation so well that a human judge could not rapidly tell whether they were talking to a person or a computer? Then became known as the Turing test, or the imitation game. The basic setup included a human indicator, a human participant, and a machine. The indicator asks questions to figure out which one is human and which is the machine. The point was not that the computer had a soul. The point was whether a machine could intimidate human conversation convincingly enough to challenge our assumptions about intelligence. Then came 1956, one of the most important years in AI history. At Denmark College in New Hampshire, a small group of scientists in mathematics gathered for a Dartmouth summer research project on artificial intelligence. This is where the term artificial intelligence was coined and defined as a field. The The project was organized by John McCarthy, and the proposal made a bold claim as quoted, "Every aspect of learning or any other feature of intelligence can, in principle, be so preciously described that a machine can be made to simulate it." That is the dream that launched the field. If we can understand intelligence, maybe we can model it. Maybe we can build machines that reason, learn, and solve problems. And the legacy of that moment still continues. Dartmouth has since leaned into AI at an institutional scale, including partnerships with AWS and Arabic, while faculty explore AI in healthcare, climate monitoring, and deepfake detection. But the important part is this. The responsible use of AI has to serve human goals, not replace them. Around the same year, another major milestone appeared, the logic theorist. The logic theorist was developed by Alan Norwell, Herbert A. Simon, and Cliff Saul at RED in Santa Monica, California. It is often described as one of the first deliberately engineered AI programs. Instead of brute forcing every possible answer, the program used heuristics, rules of thumbs, to search for better paths. In other words, it did not blindly calculate. It tried to prioritize useful routes toward a solution. That idea became extremely important to AI because complex problems can explode into an overwhelming number of possible choices. The logic theorists helped demonstrate that a machine could perform the kind of symbolic reasoning and it influenced future works such as the general problem solver in the list processing language that helped lead to Lisp. So even at the beginning, AI was not only about machines becoming human, it was about systems that could help solve problems in a structured way. Then in the 1960s, artificial intelligence moved from a small academic experiment into major government support research. The Advanced Research Projects Agency, or ARPA, which later became the ARPA, funded advanced computer research through the United States Department of Defense. One major branch was the Information Processing Techniques Office, or IP2O, launched in 1962. The director chosen to lead IP2O was J.C.R. Licklider, a psychologist who imagined computers as interactive partners, not just calculators, but tools that could help people think, communicate, and solve problems. Government officials were interested in advanced computers because they believed these systems might one day help interpret language, recognize objects and patterns, solve complex problems, control robots, improve military planning, and allow people to interact with computers more naturally. But this is important. Not every project was meant to be an intimidating military product. ARPA often found a broad university research with long-term potential. In 1963, ARPA provided major support to institutions such as MIT, including Project Mac, Stanford University, Carnegie Institute of Technology, now Carnegie Mellon, and Stanford Research Institute, now SRI International. Those efforts helped create or support major projects, time-sharing, and interactive computer through Project Mac, early natural language programs like ELSA, knowledge systems like Dendril, robotics like Seiki the robot, early computer version of speech research, and the ARPANET, the government-funded network that became an important predecessor of the internet. Compared with modern AI, these systems are limited, but they build the laboratories, research communities, and technical ideas that made later breakthroughs possible. But then came the first major reality check, the first AI winter. During the 1950s and 1960s, some researchers made very ambiguous predictions. They believed computers would soon understand ordinary language, transit between languages automatically, recognize objects and environments, solve complex problems independently, and display intelligence compatible to that of humans. The problem was that the real world was much messier than the demos. Computers at that time had far weaker processing power and much less memory than what we have today. Programs could handle small, controlled problems, but once the number of possibilities grew, they became overwhelmed. That problem is known as a combinatorial explosion, when the possible combinations inside a system grew rapidly and more variables are added. In the early 1970s, the Lighthill report criticized AI for failing to achieve many of its most ambiguous goals, particularly because systems that performed well on simple problems could not scale to real-world situations. The British government reduced support for AI research at many universities. In the United States, Concerns also grew, and DARPA reduced funding for some university programs when speech recognition, robotics, and language processing projects failed to hit their most ambiguous targets. Some researchers argued that the field should not be abandoned. John McCarthy and the others believed that challenges were real, and that the long-term research still mattered. And they were right. The first AI winter slowed the field, but it did not end AI. Some labs lost grants. Researchers' teams shrank. Universities grew more cautious, and some researchers even avoided using the term artificial intelligence. Natural network research received less attention, but work continued in the computer reasoning, robotics, program language, and knowledge-based systems. But in the 1980s, AI had returned with the exploit systems boom. Instead of trying to create a machine that understood everything, researchers built systems that specialized in one field. These programs use large collections of human-written rules to diagnose diseases, analyze chemicals, and configure computer equipment. Some systems, such as XCon, demonstrated that AI could save businesses time and money. Other systems were used in medicine or scientific analysis. The key idea was specialization. Do not build a general mind. Build a tool that solves a specific problem. But expert systems have limits. They were expensive to build, hard to update, and weak outside the rulebooks. If the real world did not fit the rules, the system struggled. By the late 1980s and into the 1990s, the exploit systems boom collapsed. Cheaper personal computers replaced with specialized Lisp machines much of the AI industry depended on. AI companies failed. Government projects missed their targets. Investments declined. Japan's fifth-generation computer system project, launched in 1982, aimed to build advanced computers capable of logic-based reasoning, natural language interaction, and other intelligent behavior. It attracted international attention, but after major investment, it did not deliver the revolutionary problem people expected. That became known as the second AI winter. But again, AI did not disappear. During the 1990s, researchers increasingly moved toward machine learning, probability, and data-driven methods. That shift eventually led to AI's next major revival. Then we arrived at the year 2012. This is where deep learning had a huge breakthrough, and it happened in Canada. University of Toronto researchers Alice Savitsky, Elias Eskever, and Jeffrey Hinton created AliceNet, a deeper natural network trained to recognize objects in more than 1 million images. Instead of programs manually written every feature that might identify a cat, a car, or an airplane, the network learned useful visual features from examples. Earlier layers detected simple patterns like edges and colors. Later layers combined those patterns into more complex shapes and objects. Basically, if a regular computer versus system was a fighter, AliceNet was the moment it went Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. In the ImageNet composition, AliceNet achieved a top 5 error rate of 15.3%, far ahead of the second place system at 26.2%. That success came from combining a large labeled dataset, multiple natural network layers, and the parallel processing power of graphics cards. Deep learning was not invented in 2012, but AliceNet proved it could outperform established computer vision technologies on a massive scale that helped launch the modern deep learning resolution. Then, in 2015, OpenAI was founded by a group of tech leaders and researchers, including Elon Musk, Sam Altman, Greg Brockman, and Elias Eskever, with a mission to develop powerful AI safety and for the benefit of humanity. And on November 30th, 2022, OpenAI launched ChatGPT. That was the moment AI entered mainstream culture in a completely different way. Suddenly, AI was not just a research topic. It became the newest search engine where normal people can use it every day. A student can ask it for help, or a business owner could start brainstorming marketing ideas, or a filmmaker could ask for equipment research, script feedback, or a production checklist. And when that happened, the fear escalated. So now that you know the history, what does this have anything to do with the film industry? To answer that, we need to talk about James Cameron. The reason I bring up JamesCameron is that he is one of the few filmmakers who has understood both sides of technology for a very long time. Cameron is not anti-technology. His career proves the opposite. From The Abyss to Titanic to Avatar, he has constantly put filmmaking technology forward. He understands motion capture, visual effects, 3D, virtual production, and performance capture as tools that can help artists create what was once impossible. But he also understands that technology can become dangerous when it falls into the wrong hands, especially when humans stop respecting the responsibility that comes with it. That warning was central to The Terminator. In 1984, JamesCameron released The Terminator, a film about an artificial intelligence system called Skynet that gains control of the military weapons and nearly destroys humanity. The only hope of preventing the apocalyptic future lies within a young woman named Sarah Connor, played by Linda Hamilton. The Terminator became a huge hit and a science fiction classic. Then 7 years later, Terminator 2 Judgment Day pushed the idea even further. It became one of the most beloved sequels ever made and one of the biggest action films of his era. The Terminator movies are not just action films. They are warnings. They ask what happens when technology moves faster than human wisdom. So when AI started rising again and entering Hollywood conversations, Cameron's response was almost painfully accurate. He said, "I warned you guys in 1984 and you didn't listen." That line works because the Terminator was never really about robots. It was about control. Who controls the machine? Who benefits from it? Who gets hurt when the people in charge make reckless decisions? And when Cameron talks about AI in filmmaking, he draws a clear line between performance capture and generative AI. Performance capture still begins with actors. It uses technology to translate a human performance into a digital character. The soul of the scene still comes from the performance, the director, the animators, and the artists who shape the final image. Generative AI, at its worst, can try to skip that entire human process. It can make up a character, make up an actor, make up the performance from a text promote. For Cameron, that is horrifying because it is the opposite of what he does. He does not want a computer doing the thing he takes pride in doing with actors. He loves working with actors. He does not want to replace them. And that is the difference. Technology that it sees the human performance is one thing. Technology that replaced the need of a human performance is another. So was JamesCameron responsible for bringing AI into the film industry? No. AI long existed long before Arnold Schwarzenegger walked out of the future. But Cameron understood the danger than most filmmakers. The threat is not just the machine. It's human greed, human shortcuts, and the human carelessness of using the machine. Here's something people forget. AI has been long part of our entertainment. It wasn't always generative AI. It wasn't always ChatGPT. But we have interacted with computer-controlled behavior for years, especially in video games. Let's look at a game Street Fighter 2, for example. The fire on the left might be player 1, and the fire on the right might be the CPU, the computer. The CPU is a form of game AI. It controls the opponent, reacts to the player, creates challenges, and helps make the game fun. It can help players improve their skills and test themselves, and the best part is that it's optional. You can fight the computer, or you can play against a friend locally or online. That kind of AI is not replacing the human experience. It is supporting it. AI was also explored directly in cinema through Steven Spielberg's AI, Artificial Intelligence. The project originated with Stanley Kubrick, and after Kubrick passed away, Spielberg completed it to honor the vision while bringing his own emotional approach to the story. The film explores humanity's darker nature through a Pinocchio-inspired idea. What if an artificial child could feel something real? What if the machine was not the monster, but the mirror reflecting human cruelty and longing back at us? That is why I think AI, artificial intelligence, still matters. It is not just about technology. It is about empathy. It asks whatever humans are responsible enough to create something that wants love. So when AI can't be a supportive tool, this is what I mean. It could challenge us, help us, and even make ourselves ask deeper questions. But what is not okay is when Hollywood treats AI as a replacement for human talent. So when a studio executive looks at AI and says, great, now we don't need writers, actors, or even artists, that is not exploitation, that is exploitation. Using AI to steal people's likeness, use voices, create performances without their consent, or bring performers digitally against their wishes or their family wishes is wrong. And this is why we need to be careful with examples like with the late Val Kilmer. AI voice technology helped give him a voice again for Top Gun Maverick. And that can't be seen as a positive use because it was connected to the performer in his participation. But without consent, the same kind of technology becomes dangerous very quickly. This is why consent matters, control matters, competition matters, and human dignity matters. That was one of the major fears with the WGA and the SAG-AFTRA strikes. Writers were fighting against the use of AI undermining their work, while the actors were fighting to control over their likeness and their performances. And those fears are not imaginary. When AI gets used without ethics, it can spread misinformation, manipulate images, fake voices, and to turn people into assets that are no longer controlled. We have seen this outside of the film industry, like with people in the Trump administration stealing people's likeness and using it to control and to purposely troll people. Whether it be studios, corporations, governments, or political actors, the danger is the same. AI in the wrong hands can mislead people and inflame the worst parts of society. This is the road that starts to feel like a real-life Skynet. Then in 2023, Gareth Edwards released TheCreator. TheCreator is a science fiction epic about war between humans and AI. It came out at a strange time. ChatGPT had entered mainstream culture, companies were experimenting with generative tools, and the WGA and SAG-AFTRA strikes were happening. Because of that, the film's marketing was put in a difficult position. And that's the same because TheCreator is the kind of original big-budget science fiction film we barely get anymore. It explores a world where humanity's fear of AI leads to war, and it even debunks the sale of your likeness to AI, a scenario that connects directly to real-world industry concerns. I think TheCreator is underrated. It is eye-opening, thought-provoking, and arrived at almost the exact moment people were arguing about the future it was warning us about. Now, if you want an example of AI being used more responsibility in film, look at the sort of film Mythos, directed by Taron O'Neill. Mythos is a live-action hybrid that incorporates generative AI imagery into its visual language. It premiered at Sundance, and from everything that I have seen, the important part is that AI was used more as a special effects tool, not as a replacement for artists. The film still used real actors, physical production, human editing, and tools like Adobe Premiere Pro and Adobe Firefly. The story is set in a fractured world and told through the eyes of a young woman and a whale discovered to process a primitive language. I got the chance to see it, and honestly, I thought it was very well done. Not a masterpiece, but it's a good example that shows that AI and film can work together if the tool is handled with respect, with care, and with the right intentions. It even helped me brainstorm ideas for one of my future projects, because it showed me that AI does not erase the artist. It can become one more brush in the filmmaker's toolkit. So let's bring this back into the main question. Is AI a threat to the film industry? My answer is not automatically. AI is not a threat by itself, it is a threat for how people use it. If AI is used to replace jobs, steal work, generate lazy content, spread disinformation, or produce half-baked movies and shows with no human soul, then yes, it becomes a threat. If platforms like Amazon, Project Nero, or any other AI production system become shortcuts that reduce hours and costs, then yes, we should be worried. But if those tools are actually used to help artists, speed up technical work, improve access, and support human creativity, then the conversation changes. The tool is not enough. It's the value behind the tool that matters. For independent filmmakers, there are responsible ways to use AI. If you're looking for affordable equipment for your short film, AI can help you research options and optimize sources. If you're building a lookbook and need copyright-free visual inspirations, then Gemini and Fiverr can help you generate reference images. If you need feedback on a screenplay, AI can identify structure issues, pacing problems, or unclear character motivations. But it should not write the soul of the movie for you. It should not replace collaborations. It should not become a cost that stops you from thinking. AI can help you complete tasks more than what you could imagine, but if you constantly use it without questioning it, it can become addictive. It can weaken your own creative muscles. It can make you lazy when you let it. So you need to set boundaries. Use AI to support research. Use AI to organize. Use it to test ideas. Use it to get from point A to point B. But don't expect it to solve every problem for you. That is your job as a filmmaker. And now it brings me to the two biggest important lessons of the video. Lesson 1. AI can help you move faster, but it cannot replace your taste, your judgment, your ethics, or your lived experiences. Lesson 2. AI is a tool. If we treat it with care instead of abuse, it can open doors. But if we treat it to replace people, it can lead us into a dangerous path. Now that you all finally have seen the whole picture, you can all chill the f*** out. There's no need to panic, but we do need to pay attention. Film is a collaboration. We are not robots. We're not disposable tools. Sound artists, writers, actors, animators, editors, cinematographers, composers, and directors all bring something human to the work. Everyone has a voice that deserves to be heard. And if movies are made properly, they can bring people together to create something special. This is what I want AI to protect, not destroy. So maybe the question is not, will AI kill filmmakers? Maybe the question is, will filmmakers, studios, and audiences fight to keep humanity the center of the art? That is the future I care about. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section as to what you think the future AI in film looks like. Are you against it? Do you support it as a tool? Are you somewhere in the middle? If you enjoyed this video, then make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell to follow more of my filmmaking journey here on Carniello Cuts. And until next time, guys, happy filming.